What's going on, everyone? Hello, 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 hello. How are you guys doing out there? Thank you so much for tuning in to another great epic episode of Just My Opinion Reviews. Guys, we are back again and we are talking Shogun. I have been pronouncing this episode or the title or this show wrong. I keep saying Shogun, but it's Shogun. I know Shogun. I can't do it. I can't. I'll let Kimberly announce it. But the guys, this is episode 9, titled Crimson Sky. Mariko arrives in Osaka for the fight of her life. Blackthorne and Yabashuge scramble to save their own heads as their options dwindle. Guys, I want to let you know that this is going to be a spoiler-filled recap. Me and my lovely guest over here, we're going to spoil this episode up, down, left, right, in, and out, as if you've already seen it. That is your warning. And as I'm speaking to my guest, Miss Kimberly Kern from Southern California, how you doing, ma'am? Let the good people out there know how you feeling today.
Hey, man, I'm doing good. I'm back in white.
Yes, I noticed.
And I'm really gonna try not to cry.
Yeah.
The tears were flowing. I'm not ashamed to say. Yeah.
Same. I noticed the white. I didn't want to ask you before we hit record. Is that because of the way that the episode ended with Mariko, of course, which we're going to talk about. She's all over the synopsis of this title. It's sad, but 2 episodes in a row, we have lost very important characters. Episode 8 was Hiramatsu. Episode 9 was Mariko. And Yabashige has also shown his true colors. The backstabbing bastard, literally, metaphorically, all of that. You know, he's trash. And well, I was going to say something about the end, but I'll wait. And of course, we got 1 episode after this. I can't wait to talk to you about how everything is going to unfold. Now, Kim, going into this, like, when we was recapping episode 8, I was like, hey, episode 9 is Crimson Sky, title Crimson Sky. You was like, oh, I didn't notice yet, Brandon. And I mean, just like everybody that's watching the show that's enjoying it, and everyone is like, I cannot wait to see what happens in the end. I cannot wait to see what unfolds. Toranaga's plan, what is it? Is it going to be a battle? Is it going to be a war? Is it going to be, a competition of poetry? What is it going to be? Yabushige, for instance, during this episode, he's screaming or raising his voice at Mariko, like, what are you doing? What is this plan? We can do it together, okay? Let me know. Even the engine, even the barbarian, John Blackthorne, was like, Mariko, what's going on? What do you have up your sleeve? After seeing this episode, are you satisfied or disappointed in what events have taken place as far as Toranaga's plan is concerned? Because also, we have the Portuguese, the priest over here, Martin was letting them know, hey, man, Toranaga is serious. He is giving up. He don't want to fight. He sent me to here to Osaka to spread the word, to spread the message. His most loyal vassal killed himself in front of everybody. And the older guy was like, hey, that's what you think, but he wise as well because he's older. He was like, yeah, but you just don't know Toranaga and all this trickery. You're blind. I'm pretty sure you remember all that. When all 3 of them was chopping it up on the harbor. And so he was like, Toranaga has a plan. We got to figure it out. So the priests are trying to figure out Toranaga's plan. Yabashige is trying to figure it out. Blackthorne's trying to figure it out. Where are you at right now as far as this plan is concerned, especially the way that episode 8 ends? Are you satisfied, disappointed? You're being patient to wait to the end of episode 10. Where's your mind at, man? Where's your mind?
Oh my God, I'm really gonna have to try not to cry.
It's okay if you do.
I am shocked. I'm shocked. Nothing. Man, this series is good. Nothing is happening the way I thought it would. At all. I wasn't, because my brain is going, my brain is going to what's going to happen in season, like, you know, I'm like, I don't even know that they plan to do a season 2 because their majors are dropping like flies. Like,
Yeah.
I just see this, and in terms of Toranaga's plan, I'm like, I'm so torn and perplexed, and realizing this is so much deeper. It's so much deeper. The devotion to one's country, the devotion to one's gods, whatever they may be, depending on the characters, because they're split in this series. It's so much deeper than I thought. And here I'm coming, and this is what I love about learning about new cultures, is really allowing yourself to be shocked and trying not to judge. Because when you're learning about a new culture, it's important to not go, well, we wouldn't do that in America. America,
Mm.
like yeah, that's a different country. It's really, I think it's important to go when you're learning about another culture or another culture's history, instead of looking at it through your own lens, just kind of take a seat back and remember another culture sometimes can be another world. Another world. When you learn the ways of another country that has different rules, a different history as well. Because I can't look at it through the eyes of someone who has the Declaration of Independence. I
Right.
can't get it through the eyes of someone who lives in a country with 50 states and the similar history to how our states got to where they were. I'm learning, wow, let me really set aside whatever it is that I thought and let me open myself to what is. And that's where tears go, is that mer oh god, there's so much to unpack, but I don't know when Toranaga said to Mariko, "Okay, he did his part. Are you ready?" I fully expected what happened at the gate.
Okay.
The gate, I was like, "Nah, I done told y'all, woman, okay? I done told you." And now she's like, "Kill him, please. You I'll let you, okay, you know what? Let me do it myself." And I was like, this is who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
this
way
is
that
what
she
I thought.
reached out on arm for the weapon, I was
Honey,
like, "Oh!" Yeah.
her movements, and it's so funny because, not funny, but I've done a little martial arts, like nothing. I competed a little, just a little bit. But one thing I was most certainly missing with my bow staff forms was elegance. She was so incredibly elegant with her
Yeah.
fighting. I was like, how is she making it fierce and gorgeous at the same time?
This is true.
Oh my god, her hand placement, it was like, and I went back to, Buntaro and how she said, his tea ceremony was beautiful, and I was like, "Mariko, your fighting is beautiful." It was like she was pouring tea and slashing throats, like, "Let's get it." Like, she's so elegant and beautiful and strong, and to answer your direct question, Brandon, I'm just not sure what Tornaga had intended. Is this what he intended? Okay, Hiramatsu did what he needed to do for his country. Are you ready? Was he saying to give your life or to execute? And now I'm realizing that Toranaga, he's just on another level. This situation is on another level. We're not talking about, are you ready to sacrifice your position? Because you might go to a lower paying job after this. Are you ready to serve? Because you might have to serve people you don't like the Angie. No, it's like, are you ready to die? I know you have a son that's 14, but are you ready to just say goodbye to him in your life? Are you ready to die? That, I think that's what he was saying. I think
Yeah.
because she said something to Blackthorne that made me think differently. She was like, "Oh, when Yabushige was yelling at her and trying to, what are you doing? Hey!" And she was like, "I'm sorry. It just came out." It just came
Yeah.
out. I was like, does that mean you ventured off of the path that Toranaga intended? Um, I'm just shocked. I'm
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I am too. That's how I felt the first time I watched it. And like yourself, I was expecting some type of showdown, fight, squabble as they were trying to exit Osaka. As you, I do agree with everything you said about her elegance, while simultaneously being fierce and courageous. Just the amount of confidence and just her walking to the gate, saying it with her chest, was amazing. There are a lot of people that overuse the word woke, like just because it's a woman lead in the film or an all-female movie, etc. But this is the best display, in my opinion, that I've seen in a while of showing beauty and strong women all at
Yeah.
the same time naturally. You know, not to
And
say
its
that,
history, and its history in terms of are accurate to what kind of power women had in terms of education and fighting, and they're not just taking something and going, wouldn't it be great if this woman did it?
right,
They're
right,
being very accurate to Japan at that time and to what freedoms women had, they were allowed to do. Like when she walked in the first episode, and that man was scolding his wife, um, and she was going, "Who are you to scold her? She just lost her child." That wasn't like, "Oh, let's write this in as strong female lead because that's how I want to envision women in the
right,
1600s
right.
Japan." No, no, this isn't creating something because this is how we want to be woke. This she actually women would have had that power back then. Women knew how to fight, and she said because of her father's ranking and education that she was allowed, she was able to fight. Before she was married, she was allowed to fight. So it is historically accurate.
Yeah. It is. I just also like the depiction of women as a whole, across the whole spectrum. We got the young, the middle aged, the old, fighters. I don't know what term to use to, just being a mother. The whores or the special hoes over at the tea house. I mean, we're getting
There
so
are
many
women
different.
standing on business everywhere, that whatever corner they are.
Yeah,
If it's a street
right,
corner, I'm standing on business. If it's the church, as a woman of faith, Mariko is standing on business. Like it's like, and even Toranaga's wife, like don't get it twisted. Like she's older, but she's cunning as well.
right, right, right.
Toranaga's wife is she's not stupid. She's a wise woman. She knows her place, but also she knows how to play the game as well. Every woman in each storyline is so elegant and powerful without having to take on this somebody's view of what feminism should look like. I love that this is history. I love that it's nobody's imagination. They're just telling the truth that women were boss. Some
Yeah,
cultures wouldn't have let a woman speak in certain times in history, including our culture. Hello, America. These women were like, "Oh, this is what needs to be done." Okay, like it's so amazing how powerful these women are.
yes, I agree. You spoke about culture twice. How you didn't use the word humbling, but that's one way I took out of your assessment explaining the episode. How you just have to sit back and be like, "Oh, this is not America. We wouldn't do this in America." But what I like about it is this episode here, well, the whole series, but this episode specifically is how, yes, it is very different from ours, especially the level of loyalty, but also very similar because we both Christians, and there's Christians in the show too. Mariko is saying, "Hey, I am going to, we can't fight ourselves out of this castle. It's just too much. There's bodies and blood everywhere." Um, the devotion of that one man taking the spear in the back like it was, honorable to serve you. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like take one more out before you go. You know what I'm saying? Don't just take the sword. But she was saying, I'm going to commit seppuku at sunset. Kayama, you're a Christian as well. You know our faith. Can you second me so I'm not,
Killing
right,
myself.
right. First of all, how does that work? Because he's a Christian too. I mean, I see I see what she's trying to do, but at the same time, he is in a sense like killing her or assisting her. So that's interesting. But I just thought it was very interesting that the cultures are so different, but at the same time the same. Because we believe that we feel that if you kill yourself, you're going to be external damnation in hell, for all of eternity, or a lot of Christians feel
Some
that way.
people do. I don't think that, but yeah.
Okay, but you get what I'm trying to say, though.
I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. A lot of different sects of Christianity
Right.
do believe that.
Right. So I just kind of found that fascinating. Also, in this culture that's so different from ours, Yabushige
Well,
and
we look at suicide as you gave up. In their culture, it's honor. It's a way of honor. It's like I wouldn't dare go. Like she said, what an offense. I was supposed to carry out my Lord's wishes, and I can't do that. I can't bear the shame is to go back and go, hey, I couldn't do this. Whereas we look at suicide as, oh yeah, I don't want to ruin the YouTube video. We look at self erasing as you gave up. What a shame. But for them, it would be more of a shame to go back to your boss and go, I didn't do this. It's actually more of an honor to take one's life. And I thought that was it was frustrating, but it was beautiful. And I had to set my frustration aside because I was frustrated because I thought, did you think she was bluffing?
I was just about to ask you that, Kimberly. I was about killing herself. No,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
did.
I
I
don't.
thought she was like working. I thought that was the plan, Brandon.
The reason I don't want to jump too far ahead, the reason why I don't think she was blushing, I think she was prepared to die because the way that she somewhat gave up at the very end of the episode.
True.
She was like, I didn't think I was going to make it this long anyway. So, hey, let me just go out with the bang. We can talk about that later. But no, I don't think that she was bluffing.
Go out with a bang. Oh, Brandon.
Sorry. Some sensitivity. But let me ask you this though. Man, I want to ask you so much, but
oh my God, there's so much to talk about here, you guys.
do you think they actually thought that they would be successful leaving the castle? Whether that was Mariko, whether that was her escorts that were the samurai fighting their way, do you think they actually felt they had a chance to make it out of there alive unscathed? Because that is a hell of a sacrifice, in my opinion. It's just, man, I unless it is my blood family, I don't know if I could do it. Well, I would have to have a worthy cause, and right now I just can't think of one. But to just be like, I am going to just give my life right now for something that I am not going to be able to experience, because I'm erasing myself anyway. Do you think they felt that they actually had a chance of getting out of there alive? Or was like, hey, I'm gonna die here.
That's a great question because there's so much of like what I would do for my country, but then there's what did she hand to Toranaga's wife when she had the notes and she's like, this is from Toranaga. And she was like, this better work. This better work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think that's a great question, Brandon. And to be honest, I'm not 100%. Part of me, and this might sound, some people might be like, girl, no. Part of me thinks they did.
Okay.
Part of me thinks they did because here's the thing. She was forcing his hand either way.
True.
Like when Ishido went back to Lady Ochiba and was like, and was like trying to be like, well, she thinks she's going to do this. And Lady Ochiba, which I got so much to say about her, she was like, no. See, she knows what she's doing. She's forcing our hand because now we're screwed. Either way, we're screwed. Because now we look like we're holding hostages. But if we let them go, we're weak. So
Yeah, everybody at one.
okay, yeah, she did this on purpose. We're screwed.
Yeah.
So I think by risking her life at the gate, whether she thought they were going to let her go, she was like, I'm about to completely change the game. I'm
Yes.
going to screw you so bad. You were going to be so screwed
Yeah.
either way. So I think she was prepared for if it didn't work. She was 100% prepared to go the distance that she needed to go if this didn't work. But because I'm forcing their hand and making it seem like, oh, if I'm not a prisoner, then I should just be able to go, right?
Yeah.
So I think she was 50-50 is what I believe. I
Mariko,
believe she
Mariko, right? Mariko's 50-50?
yes,
Okay, okay.
yes,
Gotcha.
because I believe she was like, this is kind of in Ishido's hands because I'm gonna push him, and if I need to die, I'll die. But
Yep.
it's possible that he might take this and see that I'm pushing him and not want to be seen as taking everyone captured because then all the families are going to request release.
Hmm.
So my intention is to go back, but I am fully prepared if not. So I
Yeah.
think when she was frustrated and she turned back to uh is it not Kirino Kata, I think. Yeah,
That's one of
that's
them.
Toranaga's wife. Um, I think that frustration when she turned around and was like, "These men won't let me leave." I think that wasn't a surprise to her. I think that was okay. So we're going with Plan B.
Yep. Yep. You nailed
Okay,
it. You nailed it. You nailed it, ma'am.
all
Good,
right.
good, good job. Good job. Yay. You nailed that right there. Oh, couldn't help it. Sorry. So yeah, I can imagine Toranaga, at the drawing board, in Edo in his home in his court. It's just like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, if this happens, we're going to go this direction. If this happens, we're going to go this direction. I would rather this happen, but I have a plan of action no matter what direction this takes the people I care about and love. He was able to predict that Blackthorne and the Yabashige would be teaming up together. But I have jumped the gun. Prior to that, we still got the introduction of the 14 years ago where Mariko was trying to kill herself or just run away. And even right after that, when she showed up in the I guess the Iron Throne room, of Ashido's lair of Osaka,
Mhm.
the presentation where Yabashige tried to present the gift of the Blackthorn to Ishido, and he's like, these are
Failed.
hollow words from a traitor. Yeah, get out of here. Like I don't want your scraps. And also he accepted his invitation. I mean, it goes without saying what happened because when Yabashige was up on the ledge, looking down, oh, God came up to him and was like, hey, Ishida is going to accept your proposal, but he has a request. And it's possibly obvious what the request was at the end of this episode, but we're going to talk about it. But, woo, the way that Mariko stood up there and gave the poem and
Gave him
and
the
and charged,
business.
yeah, just like, hey man, I'm from a line of samurai for 1,000 years. I am
Man, I was
worthy.
like,
They're like, oh,
girl, go.
everybody huffing and puffing, like, oh my God, I can't believe where are your manners? Like, you
My
know,
manners are right here.
the discussion
Right here.
finished, a lady at she was like, baby girl, we can talk about this later. Like, chill. She didn't care, man. She did not
No.
care. She was going to say what she wanted to say. Where's the image at? Right here, man. She was like, look,
Oh man.
I got a mission. I got an agenda, and y'all are going to hear me speak. God damn it! And
What a
she did
boss.
it. Did it. Kim, what was you thinking? What was you feeling?
What
See right.
what a freaking boss. What a boss. Her father would have been so proud. And I
Yeah.
think that's what this all goes back to is I'm not going to let you trash my lineage. I'm not going to let you trash everything. Don't forget, I come from thousands of years of samurai. You guys have trashed me, you have disrespected me, you have silenced me, you have kept me against my will, and I'm tired of it. And I'm going to remind you of who I am because you're just a guy sitting on a floor with a bunch of people following him around, trying to work out these ridiculous plans. And congratulations on your engagement because you're thirsty. But let me
Yeah,
remind you of who
I
I
forgot about
am. And if you don't want to hear it, that's too bad because you're about to hear it. And she shut everyone down. Oh, you have no manners. Oh, I don't have manners. Do you have manners to let me finish?
it.
Like
Right.
I said, like I said, I just love that she was not pulling any stops for anybody. She was not
Yeah.
going to be overtalked. She was not going to be intimidated. And one thing I realized, and I don't want to jump ahead of you, but I gotta say,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
when Toranaga was saying, when they were saying, what is Lady Ochiba afraid of? Baby, she's afraid of me.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
afraid of me. Lady Ochiba is terrified, terrified of Mariko. And I loved her face when Ashido tried to silence her and she kind of looked like, yeah, because me and my man, we ride or die and all this, like all of a sudden. And then and then Mariko was like, no, 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 I'm not done. And Lady Ochiba, you saw her shrink back like,
Oh shit. Yeah.
this is what I'm afraid of her because she has a level of courage and she has the spirit of the samurai with her. And she carries that in all of her elegance. And you cannot stop her. And Lady Ochiba is terrified of Mariko because she has true honor and
Hmm.
true courage.
Yeah.
And you took everything from her, excuse me, and she's not afraid of anything. And the thing about powerful people is when you take everything from someone and you let them live, they should become your greatest fear because now they have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
This is true. This is very, very true. Well said. Well said. That was possibly my favorite scene of the
Loved it.
episode. Because she just didn't give a damn. And it's like she felt the spirit of Toranaga and God like right behind her, like each of them having a hand on her shoulder, like, you go, girl, we're here behind you, even though we couldn't
And
see them,
she
that
had her cross.
yeah,
And Brandon, like the guy said, when you don't have the words, come on, somebody, when you don't have the words, go to the cross. Don't
yeah,
get me started up in here. She
yeah,
was like, I got my cross and
yeah.
I'm walking here for God and country. And if I don't have the words, the Holy Spirit will give it to me. I was like, man, I was about to catch a word watching this episode. I was like, I wanted to take it to my Bible study. Like, and ladies, that right there is how you stand on faith.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, yeah. How you feeling? How you feeling about Martine, one of the priests? He was there in the beginning. They've been, because this is 14 years ago. They've been trying to sow these seeds for a minute, Kim. With their agenda, good or bad. I still think Martine is a little ignorant. I mean, he's smart, but I don't think he knows the full plan of his elders. You know,
I
um, I'm on the fence still.
I don't know if I think he does. He's not stupid. He might be a little foolish in terms of thinking even his bosses that he works for, you have to be blind to see that these men are toxic leadership. You have to be blind and deaf, dumb, and stupid to not see that they're dipping their hand in the tithing pot. You have to be just so ignorant to ooh, see, God doesn't like ugly. You
Right.
have to be ignorant to think that these guys you're in ministry with aren't on the bad side. So my opinion of him is that he is the one thing that the Lord absolutely doesn't want, which is lukewarm.
Mm,
He's
mm,
lukewarm to me.
okay.
I do think that when Mariko came into his life, that he genuinely wanted to convert her. But I also don't think that he didn't do it without being like, I got one. Like in terms of having a Japanese person that wanted to change over from their religion to there. I don't gotcha. Like I don't think he wasn't thinking that, you know, which is not okay. You know, you want to get souls for the Lord, but you
Right.
know, you're coming into another culture and you know what your bosses are thinking. You know they're working with people in the black market. You know what's going on. So I don't think he's fully ignorant. I also don't think his character was fleshed out as with as much attention as everyone else. So that's why I'm rather, you know, undecided on him. But I mean, I think her faith is true no matter
Yeah.
what, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I still want to see so much more of this world from different perspectives in this timeline. I mean, every group, every country, the Portuguese, even maybe decades ago when they were trying to establish, like, okay, we're going to own this part of Japan and all that, and the contracts that was written up. Japan's war with Korea, that was, you know, they spoke on that a little bit. You know, Toranaga as the young lord, so much. We talked about that.
Mhm.
We also talked about in like our episode 2 or 3 recap. I think I asked you, do you think there's going to be some type of relationship between Martine and Mariko? And we
Oh,
was like maybe, but you know that didn't happen. On
no, I thought he would be pining for her. I thought he would be like, "No, love me," or "Let's run away and start a church," or
yeah,
you know, like I thought it would be that thing where the holy man that's not supposed to love a woman would be like, "I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to lay down my cloth. Like I
yeah.
just love you." I really thought so. But no, you're right. That's not the way that went.
Yeah, it's not. So I don't want I'm not gonna go as far as say that it's disappointing, but I like that it's not predictable. You know, I'm thinking like I can see the show going in this direction and it doesn't. Even the way you started out with our recap here, our recording, you were just saying, "Oh, I'm shocked. This is not the way I thought things were going to go down. I expected the gate battle, but I didn't expect everything else." And so I do appreciate the writing as far as that's concerned. You know, because nobody wants to be able to, you know, preconceive every event that's going to happen from beginning to end. That would be very, very boring. But also,
Yeah.
real quick, I want to talk about Blackthorne real quick.
Mm.
You know, he, while I feel like he is accepting the culture and the lifestyle, like, you know what, I'm just going to kick my feet up and live in Japan. You know, he still turns his nose up at the culture as well, because it's not that okay, he beat his shipmate's butt last episode, nearly beat him to death. And that could have been for more than one reason, because he doesn't want to F with them anymore, or because that he called him out and he's embarrassed, you know, and doesn't want to be held responsible or take any accountability. Or it could be because he's like, you know what, these Japanese people ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was crazy at first, me seeing them second everybody. Mind you, that was so bizarre to him in the beginning, but he cares for Mariko now. He offered to second her when Kenyama didn't show up. And so that's very, very interesting. I don't know if he would do that for anybody, but you know, he really does care for Mariko. You know, at one point he was like, look, I'm asking, you know, no, I'm actually begging you, please do not kill yourself. Okay. For me, not for God or for your country or whatever, for me, you know, please don't do it. So it's like, you know, he's accepting this culture on one end, but when he's disappointed, he will show his true feelings. For example, when the heir requested an audience to see him and Mariko showed up to translate. I definitely want to talk about that conversation between Mariko and Ochiba, Lady Ochiba, and I'll let you start that off. But when it was going sour, when Mariko was like, it's time to go, did you notice the way that he walked off? Like he just beelined it out, like, F it. Okay, let's go. I was like, whoa, where is the elegant? Where is the grace? Comparing to where Yabashige and the Blackthorne were in front of Ishido, he was like, okay. He said no, bow, you know, walk away. It was very nice and pleasant. But with Mariko, he just like, and I was just like, it was in the background, but that just really stood out to me. I was like, whoa, like I mean, maybe this is not a Shido here. This is a Chiba, and the way you just kind of turned your back on her, like bro, you gonna get an arrow on the back, like
Man,
so,
man.
I don't. That was just. It may not be a big deal to you, but to me, I
Oh,
was
I
like,
totally caught that.
oh crap.
He walked away the way, you remember when you used to have an attitude with your mom, and then it was like that second right before you got snatched up in public?
Yes, yes, yes.
Fine. And then if you don't get back here, oh shoot. He walked
Yeah,
away like the way I walked, like the last time I ever gave my mom attitude as a teenager. That's how he walked, because Lord knows I wouldn't do it again.
right,
Because
right.
he walked away like, forget this then. Because
Yeah,
he's like, it's desperate at this point. That's all remember, he can't his men don't want to go back to England with him. The whole point of him getting here was to address the Portuguese, and now I'm so far away from my goals. I'm like all up in this man's situation, you know. He's giving me gifts and I'm in a house, like I'm so far away from my goal. Like I just wanted to take down the Portuguese. Like why am I all up in this situation?
hmm,
And now he's like, well, all I have is her. I don't have my men. I don't have my mission. I don't even have my mission anymore. A man needs a mission.
this is true. This-
And he's like, I don't even have a mission anymore. So all I have is her. So now she's like, I'm going to take my life. And so he's like, forget it.
Yeah,
Forget your manners. Forget your this. Um,
it's like the second or
God.
third time you did that, because when Toranaga said, "Okay, we're going to surrender to Osaka," when he told his half brother that, and when there was in that little meeting on the beach with the little, not little tents, but you know what I'm talking about. He got up then and was like, "Death, or y'all are tripping," and walked out of
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
it's very 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 funny to me. During the same scene when he walked off, and he was just like, he kind of looked back like, "Are you coming?" Talking about Mariko. I was so shocked that they let him that close to the heir. They don't know him. He could have just ran over there and stabbed the little boy and just effed the whole game up, knocked all the pieces off the board. I mean, I'm glad he didn't. I'm not saying I want it, but
Yeah, this is all
like,
about that kid.
I was like, why are y'all not, why is there no guards, protecting the boy from this barbarian? Like, I don't know. That was really weird to me. Am I
Yeah.
tripping or
No.
okay. Yeah.
You're so right on, Brandon. You're so right on.
Okay.
Because remember all of this, and it's so funny that they had the kid in the background, because we forgot this is all about the fact that this kid is not old enough to leave. All of this
Yeah. Yeah.
is about the fact that the heir is so young. It's
Right.
all about him. If this heir was 20, whatever he decided, that's the way the tide would go. Whether he said, Ishido, let this man go back to like no, that's not what I'm doing. I want to focus on the Portuguese. Or he could, if he was older, he could have said, what does this barbarian have to say? Oh, the Portuguese. Like if he was an older man, young
True.
man, even 19, because back then the emperors were young,
Mhm.
but they can't be like, well, I don't know. Some emperors in history were super young, 8 years old or something. But in this stance, all of this is happening because of this boy. And I think we have lost sight of that. We've
Yeah.
completely forgotten that, because if she and Toranaga, if this kid was old enough to go, I don't care what your issues are, it's about what I want to do, then we wouldn't even have this Ishido, Toranaga, and you killed my guy and you blew up my guys and turned them into spaghetti. But no, you just left where I was keeping you and you didn't tell nobody and you like tricked us and now I'm upset. Like none of this would be happening. And the kids in the background just like, nah, nah, nah. And so I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting in terms of directing, in terms of the writing, the way they had the boy playing in the background. I thought it was
Right.
intentional and interesting, and something that we should all pick up on is like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and Chibas was like, he requested an audience, but he didn't say a word to him. Blackthorne just gave him a bow. He didn't bow back. I don't even think he acknowledged the bow.
No.
But then right after that, we have this conversation between Achiba, Lady Achiba, and Mariko. Them
Mhm.
reminiscing from the past. Achiba starts to cry. She doesn't necessarily show the tear because her back was turned. She was facing the camera. But I think it's safe to say, or it may just be obvious, that Toranaga wants to end this whole ordeal without any bloodshed. So he's like, how can I get the tables to turn my direction with sympathy and empathy? That's what the whole play was at the gate when the men were fighting themselves out of there, or their sacrifice, them giving their lives. And at the time, Lady Achiba wasn't convinced, but I think that she was during this conversation between herself and Mariko. Stop these games, okay? Mariko's like, we're not playing games. I'm being for real over here. You know,
Mhm.
uh, they talked about the poetry and the competition and all of that, and I think that was the turning point. We'll see how things play out in episode 10, the finale, because of course Achiba is going to have a very important role to play. But I think in this scene here between them, the two women, and at the gate, that was part of Toranaga's plan. Is like, okay, let's evoke some emotions, some feelings for the people. Let's make Ishido and everyone that's under him look bad if it doesn't, tilt in our way. Um, how you feeling about that? You agree? You disagree?
Man, her courage and honor at that gate, and seeing just the way Blackthorne was looking at her like, what a woman. Like these arrows, these
Yeah.
arrows are literally, but then again, Bintaro was her husband, so she's used to arrows flying past her face. But these arrows are right at her, and she's still walking. She's still walking forwards. This is a woman about her business, and you're not going to get me off track. And she made them all look so bad. Those regents were like, they could do nothing but respect that moment. And Lady Ochiba, this is why, like as best friends, Ochiba and Mariko, when you're best friends with someone, you know them inside and out. And you may not need to see them in the worst moment they've ever been in their life because you know what they would do. And she now, because remember our last review, I was like asking you, like, what is Lady Ochiba afraid of? Remember, I couldn't quite put my
Mhm.
finger on what she's afraid of. She's afraid of Mariko because look at this honorable woman, and she's over there enshrouded, like I mean, like, I don't know, people probably know I'm here, but I'm just gonna be incognito. It's like wearing your shades like at night. Like, take them off. Like,
Right.
you're watching this girl and she's calling you all out with her actions, and you know you would never do that. You would never. You are not
Right.
devoted to anybody enough to do what she's doing right now. And if one arrow flew near you, you'd scream and go back. And every step she takes, she shames you because you know she's about that life. And Ochiba's scared out of her mind. That's what she was afraid of.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's humility that Mariko never when they were saying, what is she afraid of? She should have said me, because she knows I'm about that life.
Ooh,
Come
ooh,
at me.
that was
She
that
knows
was
I don't play.
blew up the
Like
spot.
she could have easily said that,
She could have.
but
That would be nice.
man, just and she was like a warrior. Like I'm gonna get us out of here, and just seeing all those men just like not standing up for her. God, that
Yeah.
got me, man. That got to me so deeply. But I have to say something that Blackthorn did that I thought was so beautiful, and I hope I'm not jumping ahead. I hope I'm not.
You good.
When he said, "I'll second you,"
Yeah. Yeah.
that oh, it made me cry. That was so beautiful to me because throughout Mariko's whole marriage, all she ever wanted from Butaro was to let her just die. Just let me die. And when she was pregnant and going through the snow, she was gonna kill herself and just be like, just let me be out here in the snow and freeze to death. Like I don't care anymore.
One,
And
I'm sorry, keep going. My
no,
fault.
go ahead. But Blackthorne was gonna give her everything that Buntaro couldn't. Like the fact that Buntaro wasn't there to see that, I thought was a shame.
That's
Was sad.
exactly what I was gonna say,
I
Kim.
so wish he was there to see that this man respects her. He
Yeah.
loves her so much and he doesn't want her to die, obviously, but he loves her choices and he loves her so much that he's like, if this is what you really want, I will support you and
Yeah.
I will do it myself. That is the ultimate love. That's the ultimate love. And Buntaro could never come close. That would have shamed Buntaro had he seen that.
Yeah.
I wish he had seen that.
That is exactly the next thing I was going to say. Like, okay, Toranaga wasn't in this episode at all, and he didn't need to be. But I think, as far as writing is concerned, there was a misfire in this episode. Buntaro should have been there somewhere. He wasn't in the episode at all. And we saw the last time his wife said "F you." He's crying. You know, did he go kill himself? Like, okay, nobody loves me anymore. She don't want to join me in death. I'll kill myself. But he should have been there on the wall watching when she was about to kill herself. He was nowhere. So I think that was a very missed opportunity for him not to be there. You can comment on that. I also want you to answer: was Mariko's son justified in his feelings? And or do you think Mariko should have explained the plan to him that she had up her sleeve? Where you at on all that?
You never turn your face against the family. You never turn against the family. What little boy, little boy, little boy. I was like, see,
Son
had the
anymore.
cultures been different, you would have got a pop in the mouth real quick. First of all, who are you talking to? That is your mother. How dare you?
Mhm.
And it's just, I think it's a product of just his immaturity and people whispering in your ear, like Ishido, like the fact that her son is still there, his mom and dad are with Toranaga. You better believe every day I'm going to invite this boy to dinner with me and my family. I'm going to play nice and go, God, you like that chicken? Good. It's weird. Your mom is just such a betrayer, isn't she? Like, I'm sure that's what he was getting from Ishido. I don't think he got cruelty. He wasn't being treated cruelly when he was there without his parents. No, people were whispering in his ear. People
Yeah.
were telling him stuff about his mom.
Yeah.
Hey, you're Mariko's son, aren't you? Oh, you look just like her.
By
You
the
know
way,
your mama's a traitor, right?
right.
like I'm sure he was getting that every day. So I would like to think this boy has been brainwashed. And brainwashing is a thing. Like he
Yeah.
has been gaslighted and brainwashed into thinking that his mom is this horrible traitor and because who put those words in your head? If
Yeah.
you do this, I'm not your son. Somebody said, if you were really an honorable young man, you would tell your mother if she went
Right.
through with this. I mean, you wouldn't still be your son, would you? Like this boy has been manipulated the whole time. I would have popped him in the mouth real quick.
Yeah.
Um,
Punch in the chest, one of them.
and she knows it, so that's why it's no use. See, that's why I say we have to open ourselves to the reality that in this culture, in this situation, at this point in time, they're on another level than we're thinking. Like she's like, it's not even worth it to explain it to this boy because he's so brainwashed by now, and he just isn't gonna understand. He's not gonna understand my journey at all. And
Yeah.
she is so hurt. I mean, as a mother, I was hurt watching her receive those words from him. Um, but also she knows it's no use to explain. This kid isn't gonna get it, you know?
Yeah.
Which saddens me, which makes me really sad because he really needs to understand your mother died an absolute legend.
Yeah.
And for you to open your mouth and say something like that is so ignorant. And he's only going to learn through his own history and through time. But that broke my heart to have him say that.
It did. She was hurt by that too. The way he walked off. I don't mind him having doubts or even questioning her about it. You know, hey, mom, these people talking crap about you. This is the way he did it. You know, he deserved to be popped in the mouth. Also, on top of that, I was like, oh my god, the son is about to watch his mom kill herself. I'm glad they shut the door. Like, man, you know, like, because I've in we've seen Japanese entertainment before where, you know, they kill themselves. I've never seen a woman do it before. I was like, oh my, is this going to be the first?
Is that
So
why
I'm
they had the doors, do you think?
maybe I'm not trying to sound ignorant, but I'm like, okay, are they going to expose her breast or her or open up? I don't know. I've never
Oh,
seen it before.
because she would have had to. Oh, that's an interesting point of view. And you know what? Ignorance is okay as long as you're not making a judgment, because
Yeah,
ignorance
yeah,
is just saying, "Hey, I don't know."
yeah.
Ignorant in a bad way if you go, "I don't know, but I'm going to say this."
Right.
That's the ignorance we're thinking of. But honestly, we are ignorant to this culture, and that's why we should take this show in with an open mind that, let me learn about where you guys are coming from. Let me come into your world rather than stepping outside of your world and pointing and going, that's not right. It should be
Yeah.
this, it should be that. And I think that's a good point that you bring up, because the other guys, when they did it, they had to open their shirts.
Right,
So
right.
that, I didn't think of it, but that's a good point, because if you're gonna try to, commit seppuku with through fabric, that's gonna be a lot of,
Yeah, a
in
little
and
hard.
out. That's gonna take
Yeah.
forever and not be
And they
possible.
wear layers and stuff too, you know. So I was like,
Yeah.
how's this gonna take place? And like she was about to do it through her chest or her heart.
Mm,
She also said, you know, please wait until I fall, which I haven't seen anybody else say that.
mhm.
But yeah, I was just like, is the son about to watch this? He is scarred. All these women, the woman holding the baby, you know,
Oh,
but they shut the door. But Kimberly, we're at the end now, and um, Ashido comes in there. It's like, hey man, you know, this is disgraceful. Threw the papers down. You know, he's performing as well. Like I don't want to. You beat me here. Okay, I was playing checkers. Y'all playing chess. You can't make me look like the big bad wolf. So here, fine, you can leave. Can we please leave too? Are we jailers? Okay, apply for your papers, your permits. Y'all can leave too. However, he was full of crap, because that's what his little messenger boy went to go tell Yabashige. Like, hey, buddy, I
freaking
know that
Yabashige.
I know you're not a traitor. I know you're a traitor, but instead of killing you, if you do this favor for us and go hire these shinobi ninjas to kidnap Mariko, we'll let you live. And he showed his alliance at the end, man, and let them infiltrate the place. Luckily, Blackthorne had his guns
Oh
blazing.
man, he
And,
was like John Wick
yeah,
1600,
you
grabbing
know,
that guy through the door and then
yeah.
shooting. I was like, I didn't know John Wick's grandfather was in this. Like it's great, 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 great grandfather.
You notice they wasn't trying to kill Mariko. They were trying to take her or hostage or kidnap her. You know, they could have easily killed her, but they was trying to drag her out of the room. And she was like, "They're here for me." You know, I think she said something like, I can't remember, but she's like, "I'm not going to let them take me or capture me or whatever." But they were able to kind of fight their way out of there. And unfortunately, I mean, Yamashige has shown his true colors all throughout this season of how cowardice he is. But when he would not go over there and help Blackthorne barricade the door, and he would just like paralyzed. And I wouldn't say fear is natural, but cowardice is not. Like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm stuck here. I'm paralyzed. It's like, you little bitch. But Mariko, she just said, hey man, to me, the way that she, you know, laid on that door like that and just was able to accept the death, that tells me that she really was prepared to commit seppuku earlier, because she didn't think that she would be there, and she was like, I don't want to be a hostage. I'm just gonna go out, you know, with this explosion here. And that's very, very sad. I did not expect that. I was like, geez, Louise, you know, the first time I saw it. And, you know, I kind of sat there in my seat like, okay, are we here now? Is she really gone? Like, damn, this is not what I wanted. I wanted all these people to make it to the end, be kicking it, parlaying with Toranaga. Like, yeah, we did it, we made it. You know, we beat them in this mind game and this trickery, but no, they're not going to be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor, and it really sucks, Kim. It really sucks. How did you feel about this whole thing? Ishido giving them the permits, Yabashige being a backstabber, literally, the ninja coming in, all of that. Mariko sacrificing herself to end the episode. How'd you feel? Final thoughts, all that good stuff. Take as long as you want.
Um, I, I something that gets me about Mariko is that as much as she has done with her life and serving God and trying to serve her country and her king, so to speak, in Toranaga, her leader, she's also that episode of Two Masters hits me and comes back because she has always been chasing death. Like as much as she has done with her life, and she has found joy. Like we saw her with her son, like they had a special relationship, and she had so much purpose um being an interpreter, and she's just so much usefulness to her country. She also secretly, and this makes me so sad, like she has always been chasing death as well. And so when I think of the title of that one episode, Two Masters, it's like one part of her is for God and country, and the other part of her is what so many people can, I think, relate to, which is I don't want to be here anymore,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, I get that, and that I really understood that in a lot of ways, and it just was so true. Like even though she loved Blackthorne, and that sacrificial act for him to be like, I will, because and the crazy thing is he was ready to, as much as she was ready to commit seppuku, he was ready to behead her, and that's how much he loved her.
And I'm sorry,
And
I left out the part that he came to her bed the night before and they started making out and, you
yeah,
know, cuddling together.
yeah,
But
yeah.
keep
I mean,
going.
yeah, they. It's this undeniable, unspoken love, and I love that there didn't have to be this through the series, this like um soap opera like sneaking away and hooking up, and this is like romantic love. This is like sacrificial love. This is and especially her as a Christian, like I saw so many things in her being a woman of faith. And look, honestly, it's complicated because she's cheating on her husband. So it can't be like, let's just celebrate this love. You are legally married, bro. Like, but
Brought that up.
I mean, but the way they sacrifice, they're willing to sacrifice. Um, the way she stood against that door, it's like no matter what, no matter how close we are to getting away, no matter how close we are to meeting our goal, getting back to Ito, getting back to Toranaga, she's always looking for a way to honorably end her life. And part of it is the tragedy she carries of losing her family. And the other part of it, I believe, is wanting to restore the honor of her father's name. Because what her father did was he took out a really bad guy. And all of you, if you weren't kissing butt to whatever leader's in charge, you would have made a statue of my father. If you guys weren't lying to just stay alive, you'd have a national day for him. Okay? But because everybody's so political and you guys are wrong anyway, I'm a dishonorable person. I'm trash. Really? And so she's always trying to bring back honor to the name of her family. And but also end her life. And man, I Oh, so many things. I didn't when she escaped death the first time. I was like, I can't. After Hiramatsu, I can't handle it.
Yeah.
I can't take losing another
Yeah.
person like this. I can't.
Right.
So when they got so close, I actually was surprised when Ishido came in. I thought, "Oh my god, they're going to do it. Oh my god. Oh my god, they are going to do it. They're going to go there.
I wish I
We're
could have
going
been
to lose
watching with you to see your actual reaction.
Bro, we might have to watch 10 together or something. Because bro, I
Yeah.
didn't think it was gonna happen, and I was like this, and when Ishido came in and when somebody interrupted it, I was like,
Yeah. It was
"Oh
slow
my
and
god.
building up.
Oh
Yeah.
god." Like, I
Yeah.
was like I thought but then when she walked up against that wall and she was like, "Anjin, come." It's like she was just letting everything go and was like, when she said, "Come," was it, "Come die with me?" Like,
I think she said
let
let it come. I think she just said like
did
just
she say
like
let it come or did
I
she
think
say
so.
you come? Okay,
Let me see.
okay, that makes sense. I thought she said like engine come, like come be with me, but I could be wrong. But
I'm trying
when
to play
she
it right
stood up against that door, part of me was like, "Girl, all this back and forth, it's not worth it." I haven't. I'm near yet to see Ishido's army. Like we're not even. I haven't even seen the threat of war. All of this is politics. And she's like,
now.
this curse these actions of Ishido, like, I'm protesting against it. And I'm like, girl, this is political. It's not that big a deal. He's a jerk. We get it. Like, when you don't come back to Ito, Toranaga will come for you. Okay. Wasn't that the
Right,
plan? That was the plan, right? Like, you not
right.
coming back, he would come here, right? Like, girl, it's not that, get away from the door.
Yeah.
Like, that's all
Yeah.
the thoughts that were going through my head. And when that blast came, man, I I was bawling.
It was a yeah,
I
it was
was bawling, and then again, here we go, like fading to black and having the sound go out. I Brandon, my heart, this show, this show, man, this is not your typical series. And Yabushige, okay, guys, I do read comments sometimes, and somebody said, "How is it that you can't stand Yabushige, but then you want to talk about how charismatic he is?" Look, just because I can't stand someone doesn't mean I can't appreciate what they bring to the table. Like
right. Right.
he's charismatic. Yes, part of me kind of liked him in the beginning because I'm like, you little shyster. Like he seemed like the one guy that would always flip flop, but would never really do anything. Like he would do
And like he
horrible
needed
things,
to be
but
taught a lesson or something, you know?
he needs to be taught a lesson. There is a likability to that actor. That
Yes.
actor brings a likability to this character for sure. So it's not that I hate him. When I say I can't stand him, yeah, I can't stand him because he's always like, oh, today I serve you, today I serve you. But there is a charisma to him. Excuse me. There is a likability to him. But that's not to say for me it's not complicated. Like
Right.
yes, he's always gonna be his name is, uh, Tadenobu Asano. I wanna make sure to name actors when I appreciate them because actors deserve
Yeah.
the acclaim. This actor's wonderful. There is a likability to
Yeah.
Yabashige. There's a part of me that wants him to pick a side and fight for that side. There's a part of me that wants him to go to look like he's about to do something for Ishido and then turn around and slit Ishido's throat and go
Right.
Toranaga forever. Like
Right.
there's a part of me that
Yeah.
wants yes, Toranaga sama. There's a part of me that wants him to pick a freaking side and be about that. And
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, I thought that's what was happening when Ishido's guy came to him and was like, "Oh, you want a drink or whatever," and he turned around and stabbed him. I was like, "Yes, he picked a side. He picked
The wrong
Toranaga."
side.
I
Right.
thought he did because he killed Ishido's dude, is what I thought. But then when the anchors came up, and I thought Ishido had watchers and was like, "Oh, you killed one of my guys? okay. And then very quickly, I was like, when the guy was like tapping, like, remember, I said this would take 20 minutes, or I remember one, two, and Yamashita was like, okay, yeah, you're right. The guy was counting because he's like, my men, we're in and out in 4.338 seconds. Like, let's count. I that's when I was like, oh, you jerk. Dang
Yeah.
it. I'm
Right.
so upset. But here's the thing. I think they were part of me, Brandon, and let me know because you brought up a great point, Brandon. You said that they weren't trying to kill Mariko, they were trying to take her. So part of me thinks, because I would like to believe in Yabashige at the end of the day. I can't stand him, but I'd like to believe in him. Part of
Okay.
me thinks that he hired them to be like, enough of the back and forth. Let's go back to Ito. Grab the ladies. I don't care if they scream, just grab them and let's be on our way. I
Uh,
don't. So when she was like, no, we're gonna fight, she was screwing up his plans, whatever his plans were.
oh,
Maybe
yes.
like
I
he was
agree.
like, no, that's not it. We got 4 more seconds. Like no, like I have a plan and you're messing it up. And he's because when he was like, get away from the door, come here. Notice he wasn't like, whatever, let her die. That's what makes me think that his plan was to have the ninjas take everyone, lead them out, and take the ladies, tell them to shut up because we're going home.
So,
That's why, because he was
okay,
desperately like, get away from the door.
you're
What are you
you're
doing? He
you're
didn't want her to
enhancing my
die.
yeah, you're enhancing my question because I was going to ask you, what do you want to happen to Yabashige now? Because I thought that you was going to be like, he's a bitch ass traitor. But you're still holding out hope for him, which is fine because we haven't seen episode 10 yet.
I don't
So what?
know well, help
What?
me, Brandon. Help me. What was his intention?
No,
Do you agree with
we
me?
will.
Like, was his intention
I
to just
think
get
it is a
everyone and
valid,
freaking
it is
go?
a valid question. I can see where you're coming from. We'll just have to wait till we watch episode 10. You know, yeah.
I Brandon, I'm
What?
so frustrated. So to that viewer that got on me because it's like, Kim, you flip flop. First you like him, first you don't. Oh, you like toxic men. No, I don't.
Right.
I do not.
And,
There's
and to counter that argument, when this episode in particular, when he was getting really flustered with Mariko, like, why did you do that? Why did you just charge up the whole council? His reactions and him huffing and puffing, pacing back and forth. That was funny to me. I was
yeah,
laughing because I can
I was
understand his frustration. And he's done that throughout the whole series. So that I agree with you as far as the likability is concerned, because that's funny, or at least it is to me. So,
I thought it
yeah,
was funny.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I mean, you know
go ahead.
more because you watched them all, but because remember, and like you guys, I don't even look at the titles of the episode till I get to it. I don't want to know. I'm with you guys. I have not watched episode 10. I don't look at I don't know the title of episode 10. When I watch it, I am watching it very fresh. I don't look at the synopsis. I don't know what's happening next.
I'm
Um,
looking now.
so I'm right. So I'm like so Yabushige, to that viewer that said that, he's I thought he was mischievous at first. And I thought he was just a mischievous little brat. And then I realized when he killed those people, remember, I was like, oh, so you're a really bad guy. But then it's fun. The reason I kind of like him is that it's funny to me. It was funny to me that he's always getting caught like a 5-year-old. He
Yeah,
always thinks that nobody sees him. And everyone's like, we see that you have chocolate chips all over your face. Obviously, you ate the cookies, dummy. And he's always standing there like, nobody can know that I ate the cookies. Nobody knows. It's like everyone sees chocolate all over your face, bro. Like you're the only one that thinks you're invisible. That's
just
why he's funny to
crazy,
me.
crazy,
But like Drax,
funny.
you
Right,
can't see me right
right.
now.
No, no, you said help you out. I'll say this. This is the only tease I'll
No,
get.
don't give me any,
Okay,
don't spoil
okay,
anything for me. I want to
okay.
be surprised. Don't tell me. La, la,
I
la,
got,
la. Don't
I
tell
got.
me, Brandon, because I didn't, if I had known this episode was going to go the way it was, maybe I would have asked you to prepare me. Because honestly, after Hiramatsu, I thought we're going to have nothing but victory from
Yeah.
And this show is so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
God, Brandon. But I
guys,
gotta say, Mariko, that devastated me because to see somebody with so much promise, and I think all of us know someone that maybe has made that decision in their life, made a permanent solution to a temporary problem, I'll say.
mhm.
And it hits me in that way of you're always looking for ways to end it, aren't you? And I
Yep.
understand that very much so, and I get that, and that's what broke my heart the most is that she didn't try till the very end to survive. She just looked for ways to end it honorably, and um, I don't know. There's no one to translate now. No honest translations can happen now. Blackthorne is truly on his own, and part of me just wants to say to him, "You have two kids back home. You're accomplishing nothing here. Nothing you wanted to do is happening. The
Okay.
Portuguese are still doing their thing. They still have all their bases where they're getting guns. You haven't even made a dent in their plans. Sir, go home.
Okay.
Go home."
Well, that's an interesting take, ma'am, and I love it. Guys, that's it. That is our recap, reaction, review for Shogun, episode 9, titled Crimson Sky. Episode 10 is titled. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
No!
I'm
You
joking.
better not. You better not. You
You guys
better not.
for episode 10, the season finale, the ending of this great series. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just make sure you're here next week, same time, same place. Me and Kim are gonna chop it up. I can't wait to hear what she has to say about it. Um, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting.
I'm
Uh,
worried.
before we before we head out of here, also guys, check out my last week's episode of Super Duper if you're into that type of thing when it comes to superhero comic book material and all that good stuff. A lot of CinemaCon coverage as far as superhero comic book stuff is concerned. Also, check out my latest X-Men 97 episode recap and review. That was very, very tragic. You can tell by the thumbnail. My reaction to the Joker 2 movie and my Monkey Man review. And hell yeah, subscribe. How far away am I from hitting my
Yeah.
goal?
Or
Of,
how close are you? How close are
there we
you?
go. I'm 80 away. I need 80 subscribers to hit
80?
50,000. 80 to
You
hit the
guys, you guys, everyone share the video. Make your friend subscribe. You guys subscribe. It's excellent content anyway, so subscribe.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kim. What do you have going on your lovely platform for the good people to look forward to?
Yeah, you guys. So I am preparing my podcast called The Film That Made You. I'm taking submissions now. If you have had a film motivate you to make a significant change in your life, I want to talk to you. Maybe you saw a film and you were inspired to get your body in shape and save your own life and lose weight. Maybe you saw a film and decided to take a leap and go ask that girl out on a date, or get the courage to leave your husband because you saw a movie and you're like, I can do that too. I want to talk to people who have been inspired by film to make a change in their life. So if that's you, I want to talk to you on my podcast. You can DM me, you can email me at whatisgoodkimberlyproduction@gmail.com. I'm prepping my podcast, and I look forward to bringing that to you hopefully in the coming fall.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Do appreciate that. Well, yeah, guys, that's all we got. And so thank you for tuning in. Thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, share the video. But guys, again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery, that's Kimberly, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.